I go drink to that.
We in the rum shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in the rum shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in the rum shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in the rum shop.
Yeah.
So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk.
Yeah.
So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in the rum shop. We in the rum. Listen, today the rum shop a little different. All of us who don't know by now, my partner in rum shop crime, Stephan Reis, they hold him up outside the house 2 days ago, gun in the face, take his car, take his phone. He's still, you know, he all over the place with police trying to find back his belongings. It was a disturbing time, and I guess we got a touch in that. But I don't know if beauty before brains, I don't know if age and seniority left to right, right to left. So I'll start. Just say your hellos, we're going to jump in after. We are joined in the rum shop today by, well, I guess a regular co-host, Stephan Mathison, Trinidad businesswoman Sasha Singh, former national boxer Kurt Sinnett, Selvon Mitchell. We're in the rum shop. Though, you see, the first minute of the show, when the show starts, it has been like we're stalling to pull out before they say, stand by, talk after talk after talk. So, and then it has hit up again, and then we forget. So we was talking things, right? Things had a talk. We was talking about Stephen partner Rohan Sinhan, who tell the country today, fix all your own pothole. And I ask, what we paying tax for? If the Ministry of Education fail more than half the children, and the Minister of Education saying she can't get them half a children into remedial classes. So you know what that means? Form 1, 9,000 children going into Form 1 who ain't qualified for Form 1. What does that mean in 5 years? Because they will keep failing them forward. Because 20,000 children do SEA every year. So there is children that come into those schools when these failing Form 1ers are there. And when they go forward to Form 2, they're going to fail forward in the Form 2. What's going to happen in 5 years when they spat out at the other end of the system, 16 years old, unemployable?
Well, first thing I want to say today, I mean, just to piggyback on your opening, fix your own rules, I did not read the newspaper article, so I don't know the context in which that was said.
You cover for Rohan.
So I don't know the context in which it was said. So if maybe somebody could hallucinate a little bit on the context in which it was said, but I find that to be unfortunate if that is what was said.
If you saw that the media, the Guardian put on the front page of the paper that you as the Minister of Work say, fix your own pothole, and you didn't say fix your own pothole, would you have put out a release?
Well, maybe that might come sometime, but the thing is, the newspapers do put headlines to sell papers. So I don't know if the minister said that. But if the minister said that, that is an unfortunate thing, because we know we paying tax, we know we paying motor vehicle tax, we know we paying all kind of thing, and we suppose that those taxes don't just go into consolidated funds, but it is there to fix things like roads for which the normal citizen can't fix themselves.
Good, so that.
What's up, my brother?
You ready to fix? You have another thing to it.
Yes.
You're ready to go and fix your own pothole?
No, I'm not ready to do that, because I actually believe that if I had to fix my own pothole, it's because I alone driving there.
Your driveway?
Had
to be your driveway.
Had to be my driveway. If I fix my own pothole, and I'm also a taxpayer. So then, what am I paying tax for?
Yeah.
That is a good question.
I want to spin it up a little bit differently. Yeah? I like to shift politicians aside, because I don't really put them in no. This is why I won't go back to the Constitution as you were started before.
We will go back into that.
We have to.
We will. No, we're going back into that.
No.
Put your hand in the bag and pull out this. You want to talk about this. So I want you and Sasha to say something on that.
Yeah. So guys, when we hear this, right, I'm just here visiting for
little bit. I only came in 2 days ago. So,
Happy to have you
so
on the
my,
show.
My beautiful Trinidad and Tobago. What has become of it? But fill me in. Did a minister really say, go and fix your own pothole? That's what we talking about.
Phillip will fix it, and he say he will fix it. But Phillip will tell you, because I didn't read the article. I didn't see the article. I'm just hearing this now. I don't read.
I know
listen
that
to the local news
I
and
know
that
Rohan
kind of thing.
Rohan slower than molasses trying to run uphill. So it'll take him 2 weeks to put out a release and say, I ain't say that. He say that when the truckers and the maxi taxis wrote a letter requesting an audience, he said, well, it's take 2 weeks before it reach from the front desk to his office. That's what he say on
Yes,
the
but we are
That
saying
was an
that
interview.
we are saying
You
that
know,
because we
between-
have high
you know.
expectation of ministers that we're looking
I
up,
have
you know.
zero.
You know, between
We have
you
high
and me,
expectations, so
they
we
like to send
how can I
reactions.
expect?
It's in the garden and I could show you that.
We have too much high expectation. You talking education. Why you feel the minister can fix education? Can't. Okay. Why you think they say a prime minister and an AG could form a government? Technically, saying all the ministers is irrelevant, you know.
Yeah.
Why Manning said, what, common sense and what?
Common sense and a level head.
Actually, do you know why?
Who's the Minister of Finance in Trinidad right now?
The Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the Minister of everything. You asked me to go back into what we was talking before, where we was talking Constitution.
And
Let me tell
we
you
gonna
what
bring
he
this
was
whole
asking.
thing home.
Why the AG and the Prime Minister according to the Constitution is all you need to form a government. You see, Stephen Mathison was talking about how we end up with Trinidad watered down version of Westminster. That is
Yes,
your term, right?
that we start,
That's your
yes,
term.
yeah.
Watered down version of Westminster. They went as 10 nations to Marlborough House
Good.
for independence as a federation of Caribbean states.
Yes.
We are aware of all of that.
Yes. Agreed.
In each of the countries, there would have been a prime minister and an attorney general, and then a local government.
I like where you're going. Continue.
But no, because prime minister and an attorney general and a local government.
With councillors.
Yeah, well, that,
Drive down.
Right,
Good.
because Trinidad and Tobago was going to be the head of the federation. This is where the headquarters would be.
Yes.
So every country, including Trinidad, would have to have people to take care of public health, public works, education, picking up the garbage, making sure that water in the taps and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah? We end up with two systems. We have local government and central government. Under the UNC, under People's Partnership, there are 5 people with responsibility for cleaning the river. Nobody ain't cleaning the river.
Yes.
Everybody thought somebody else would do it, right? Taxpayers paying for all of that.
Yes.
Taxpayers paying for all of that. And this show, I wanted to be the listener, not the talker. I wanted to ask the questions and hear what people had to say. But in these things, when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, our country, and I don't care what color shirt you're wearing, Trinidad and Tobago is set up to fail, and it is failing.
100%
That
agree.
is why it is failing.
We agree.
So I just have a question. I mean to cut you across, again on
Cut
new hair.
across the man. You do your thing, it's a rum
New
shop.
hair.
I find them behaving the same because you hear.
Quiet today, no.
I just came to say hello, Phillip, how are you going?
Nobody plays in a mess.
You know, and you said Phillip will fix it, so I have something that I want Phillip to fix, which we'll talk about after. But really and truly, does any of these things get addressed? Does he, like when you talk and you go in the park and thing and you go in town.
Right.
What's the name of the park the other day?
Wildflower
Park. You got through that one?
Well, that is a work in progress.
I love that one though.
That one is a work in progress. And last week, Monday, Satish Ramsaran and I went and met with Mrs. Didier Braffett, who is the head of the Horticultural Services Division of the Ministry of Agriculture.
Next to Cape Park.
Across the road from Wildflower Park.
Yes.
Episode 6?
Yeah, this is 6 shows. We were told that even though what is written on the signs are a lie, and even though they did not give anybody permission to put up those signs, and even though, according to the permanent secretary, no one has the authority to put up those signs, Mrs. Didier Braffett and her team apparently have accepted a donation of 20 signs for Wildflower Park in direct contradiction of what the permanent secretary said in response to a freedom of information request, which could be her contradiction of him could be a criminal offense. One of them
It is.
could have lied under the law.
Yeah.
Right? So it's either the permanent secretary or Mrs. Didier Braffet. And what Mrs. Didier Braffet doesn't understand is when we went to see her to hear her side of the story, it was a formality. We're going to court. We want the signs down. There is a private citizen who erected a pole with cameras to protect his house in a public park, dug the park, dug the road, dug the sidewalks to run his cables. If we cannot get that moved, if it could be that people at a certain class could get away with that, Trinidad is back to being a colony. We've been recolonized. This is not.
Yeah, you're correct.
So,
This is not a country ruled by law. This
so
is.
how about we treat them like how they behave and do anything they want? Just go and take a blade and cut it down.
Half the country want to do that.
Go and just cut it down. Give them the same treatment.
What
I mean,
about
it sounds it's not the most
same
educated
police, the same
suggestion.
police he's trying to lift the country to have a better life will come and lock him up.
Well, I mean,
Oh, wait a minute.
Who are
Cut
gonna
it
cut
down.
it down?
Well, this is the thing. Go and cut it down
Yeah.
and nobody had to know who cut it down. Because if that's how, I mean, okay, it's an uneducated suggestion I'm suggesting here, but really and truly, you have to, that's what they understand. I mean, I'm gonna have to say this again, right? I love my country, but I come back and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on with it? Phillip, you really have the stamina to fix it? you could fix all of this?
Well, you see, things like Wildflower Park that united every creed and race, every class, I mean, everywhere I go, they have no color, they have no, that not concerned.
Yeah.
You know, Errol Fabien said on here last week and said that's the one thing that make him really pay attention, that Wildflower Park issue. So we can't let it go. We know the people versus, and that's what it'll become. The people versus who is responsible for. And if the Minister of Agriculture doesn't understand that his head of the Horticultural Services Division just put him in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Because it is he
That is the
fire
process.
her.
Brilliant.
He had to fire her.
Yeah.
He has to fire her and send and remove the sign.
Who are the fire?
The Minister of Agriculture.
Minister of Agriculture can't fire
Who's the
nobody.
Minister of Agriculture?
The permanent.
Wait, let me hear.
Who's the Minister of Agriculture?
Who's the Minister of Agriculture?
Cousin
He
Hussein.
can't fire nobody.
That's the same minister I dealt with today for my issue that you need to fix them. You say Phillip will fix it? Phillip, I want you to fix
We're
it.
going to fix it.
No, we have to fix it.
We're going to fix it.
I remember
Boy.
As a young guy growing up representing this country as an ambassador, Wildflower Park was one of the areas that I used to go and train and prepare myself for to represent this country in the sport of boxing. And it was very sad when I went there to see that these things happening, that I'm no longer even self could walk that area, that you have security guards asking you why it is here, why are you walking here. So but that was one of my training grounds of preparing myself to represent Trinidad and Tobago.
Kurt, I said I'm going to meeting and heard the most ludicrous nonsense from paid public servants. And they said to me, the corporate communications person of, I don't know if he's the Minister of Agriculture or the Horticultural Services, I don't know if they have their own corporate communications. I'm shocked to find out that they do. But he and a young gentleman who is an agriculture officer, I can't remember his name right now, but he seems to have a stellar reputation of being helpful and trying to assist people. But I think that what happened here was everybody get caught with their pants down. Because somebody decided, here, I'm going to clean this park in front of my house, and I'm going to put up signs to keep people from coming in this park, and I'm going to hire a security firm to stop people coming. And what happened was, when they say that the security firm are actually stopping you from coming, when you go to use the park and the security come and ask you, what are you doing here, what's your business here, your permission to be here, and you leave, you're not coming back there because you feel like you don't belong there. Nobody want to be embarrassed twice. Nobody put themselves in getting trouble, and they understand that is more what they call it, moral suasion. They persuaded you out to the park, don't come back. I went and videotaped that park when an elderly gentleman called me in anger and tears because he's not a young man anymore and he couldn't defend himself and his wife against the security guard who chased him out the park.
Who are the security?
We don't have that information. What we know is that the Ministry of Agriculture did not.
Did not, right? So
And that the Minister of Agriculture, the permanent secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture said that they have no authority in the park.
who have no authority? The security?
That's security.
Right. So there's no security in the no security in the botanical gardens.
There is. Property protectors has the contract, and I tell you, this can know all of this now. And they have an office.
No, but that's an enclosed area. I'm talking about across the road in the savannah.
Savannah.
You know, security.
Well, you see, they do, but they don't molest nobody. They don't come and chase. That's why you will be. That's why you'll think so. And apparently, there are security who supposed to throw the idea that have a contract that is not the security that chasing people out of the park. So the security that chasing people out of the park is private security and representing private interests whose job it is to discourage people from being in the park.
You have a contract in the
But the purpose of the security, like in the botanic garden and the savannah, is to ensure the safe passage of people who use the facility. Not to stop people, but to ensure that you're not being harassed. And
that security was private. That not the security in Botanical Garden in the Wildflower Park.
Right, so when I went back, I literally got out my car with the camera live because I didn't want to miss this. I wanted to ask him, and I asked him, who gave you the authority to chase people out of the park?
Oh, so that's what started your pet peeve?
That's it. Who gave you the authority to chase people out of the park? Because this gentleman called me in tears, and old people on Charon is the reason I'm in politics. He called me and he tell me, he say, Phillip boy, if I was a younger man, I could film down embarrassment from the wife.
So when you
and I could appreciate what the man said.
No, this whole thing, Phillip, is a greater symptom of what is causing Trinidad to be in the position it in based on what Sasha is saying. The public service, and I keep talking about the people.
Public service is horrendous.
Is doing some crazy thing. I know some of them doing it for the executive to look bad. I know it's the agenda, as the case may be. For example, I saw a video this evening with the drain. You know, we have a director of drainage. You're the Ministry of Works and Transport, you have about $2 billion in a budget. You're the Director of Drainage, have a team of people in different counties to look after those things you're talking about.
So could that drain flood for
exactly
50 years?
So.
How could that drain flood for 50
And where
years?
is the Director of Drainage? Who's holding him accountable? Correct. And this is why I come back to we the people, because when it flood, it's my car and your car and his
because
cousin car.
Trinidadians, you see, we was talking about the grocery earlier. Trinidadians will sit down in the car
shape and we say,
this
is flooding boy.
And post it on Facebook and they vex. Until they pass the flood.
Further, you know.
Until they come out the traffic and then they go.
I want to go further. You did something just now. You see what we have to start doing? Is calling. I want to know who's the Director of Drainage that have that you spoke about looking like that.
Correct.
Are we paying a man your money, paying a man a salary to clear that?
But brother, we just said that the person we paying a salary to look after Wildflower Park has abdicated the responsibility. We actually have a recording of her saying that they are satisfied that she called it 10 signs. It was 10 signs front and back. I called 18 signs. When I did the first video, and people got outraged, that video went viral, like 1 million views. When I did that first video, people and all of us, you came, people went and started to use the park again. So whoever is responsible for the signs hired somebody to put up another sign on the sign warning people of dangerous pesticides that obviously it was written in red and white and it was a threat and it seemed to say that your life was in danger. We had to file another Freedom of Information request with the Ministry of Agriculture. The permanent secretary sent us their entire list of suppliers and all the chemicals they use and what the dates would be when and they said none of the pesticides they use can harm the public, and if that was the case they would have to cordon off the place so it couldn't be random, you wouldn't have to worry. In other words, those signs was the security guard all over again. I just want to say this. Those signs was the security guard all over again to chase people out of the park. Mrs. Didier Braffett admitted in the meeting that nobody had the authority to alter the signs because Satish asked who put up the signs in the first place. They used the National Coat of Arms. To use that without permission is a crime.
Yes, of course it is. Who is the permanent secretary in Ministry of Agriculture?
Okay,
so I know I'm getting at something, you know. Every time we talk about an issue here, I want to know who's the accounting officer. You know why? Who goes before the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament to talk about the performance of a ministry? Not the minister, you know. is the PS and the technical team.
Yes.
So I don't want to hold the minister accountable who doesn't have to account for the performance of a ministry. You see, them people who we paying, who we holding accountable,
Well,
I want to call the name here. You see that drain there next time we come here? Who's the director of drainage? Who is he responsible for county?
Rohan sitting and tell you today, forget all that.
So-
Yeah.
Clean the drain yourself. Fix the pothole
Gotta get that
yourself.
article.
Are we
Fight.
safe to say that the people at the top, they're not very well versed in what they're supposed to do to help the people of Trinidad and
Wow.
Tobago?
Wow.
Are we safe to
Wow.
say that?
Wow.
No, I wouldn't say that. No. You know why I wouldn't say that? Too many times I see when Phillip raises an issue, it gets fixed. So which means, one, the resources are there to fix it. The human resource capital to fix it. The equipment is there to fix it. Why? Only when he speaks, we the people who is responsible for doing our job start to act because Phillip embarrassing we. Because when Phillip make noise, the minister hear it, he calls the permanent secretary call the director of highways, cuss him, and he gets somebody to do it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So we know our job, we go to work and we lazy around whole day.
This is
Yeah.
why
And only when somebody start to embarrass us, we say, oh shit, but they're watching me, but let me go and fix. Let me give you an example. And I'll say it in this program. By show, cafe in one Woodbrook place there, there's a pothole outside the show. When you look down there for the last 6 months, I'm seeing this pothole. It's about 4 to 5 inches deep, about 18 inches wide.
Try
It
to-
mash up your tire. Just now.
Try to drive on Lady Young Avenue.
Wait, I just showing you how long something that you won't tell me.
About 2 years.
Nobody. I see this pothole there that people swerving about all the time. They're just one. And there are many like that, but you know the thing about it?
To
We pay,
enter Western Main Road
I
by
saw
the
you had a
church.
video with one.
No, but to enter Western Main Road by the church now, how about that pothole you could park a car in?
And I want to know who is responsible for making that road smooth again. I want to know who is the person
But
who
I
got
guess
somebody
somebody-
the big pity is, right? Now, we understand it mightn't be the minister directly responsible for it.
No, it
but it has to be him indirectly responsible. Because if you
We get into that.
and I'm not talking about the minister, in a lot of cases the minister might not be a parliamentarian. But if 41 of you got in office by way of an election,
Yeah.
and you got in office by way of a campaign, your campaign, you say this is what you will do, a better life for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, development here, there, this is what we will do. Listen, you usually have a manifesto.
Right.
This is what they say they will do. Now, if after 3.5 years, 5 years, 7 years, the things they say you will do, or the things they represent that you could do, right, haven't been done, and you're not directly responsible but indirectly responsible, then we are to hold you responsible.
Let me put it this way.
Wait a minute.
Hey.
Kid Rowley said when they swore him into office, the buck stops here. What did he mean?
Just now, this one getting to
What
that.
did he mean?
we-
Sound like him.
Oh my God!
Just now,
Yeah. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
Phillip,
Stops.
these
Call Sharon on
guys.
the phone.
So you're saying these politicians are waiting the front end.
The line.
All right.
Let me tell you, know why the line? Because they know we the people don't know the truth that they really. Okay, for example, I campaign. I'm campaigning. Oh, we'll fix crime, brother. You can't fix crime without the intervention of the police service, the Ministry of National Security, and they had a buy-in. They who had to come with the crime plan. Okay, Shamfa is Minister of Sport. Shamfa ever play sports yet?
She said,
What sports
Shamfa
development?
say when they appoint her, she say, I don't know about sport. But I used to run and jump and play hopscotch when I was small. She still, you have Atto,
So-
you have Atto freaking bowler.
Now,
Come
Steph,
on,
no, well, this is what I'm saying.
man.
But this,
Atto's a Trinidad and Jamaicans winning gold medals. You have Shamfa Kujo who run and jump and play hopscotch.
it just says that the minister doesn't really have the capacity to so do.
she doesn't understand.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
I
saying.
feel
The
we're
minister just
working overtime to give Rowley a pass.
No,
Rowley
what I'm
responsible
saying-
for the performance
Let
of
me
his
tell you.
ministers.
Let me
Yes,
tell
he
you.
is,
You see
but-
the campaign? We have to have a campaign that says, not Rowley, not Kamla, because as far as I'm concerned, they don't know nothing about government or governance.
Right.
So they're irrelevant. We must campaign on how we will fix the system to make it work for the people. One campaign I want.
Guys,
But
because
here,
because
how-
here,
how
this,
we will fix
this,
the system.
Phillip,
Where's my
For
gavel? I want my
accountability.
gavel.
Alright.
this
This is
program,
more
right?
time
Just,
after
just
that.
Hear this, right? Before you everybody talk, right?
Where's
Gen-
Crispin?
so-
Crispin, on my gavel.
Okay, so gentlemen, so here this, right? We debating if the minister is the problem, if the permanent secretary is the problem, who is the problem, right? Well, so let me just give you a little something that I've been, I will consider myself a normal citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, right? Fortunately, I have, yes. I mean, fortunately, no. I know Phillip and...
Sweet. Just
You
know,
know-
all of us are the same. Me too. And we abnormal, right?
So listen to this, right? I have been battling with the Ministry of Agriculture for the past, let's say, a year and a half. Because I am now, since the airports, the borders are open, I'm traveling back and forth with my small little service, little puppy, right? Small like this, 7 pounds.
a puppy.
A puppy.
Okay.
So I brought in, she's registered service, hypoallergenic, approved by the airline, approved by the USDA, you name it. Every certificate that this dog could possibly have, I've gotten it for her so that we could get approvals to come in. Every single time, so with the Ministry of Agriculture, there is a problem costing me money, extra money, like to pay for an extra permit, to change a flight, to pay this, to do that. So today, after 5 times in the last 5 months, I went to the Ministry of Agriculture on Abercrombie Street. And I said, I called them first. They said they're going to close at 3. I said, sure, I'm going to come pick up the permit. The woman there did not specify that caching closes at 2. So I went at, so 2:30 I'm there. So listen.
Like customs.
So 2:30, yes.
Or it's something with all ministries.
Rice is
So
in
I'm
office.
there at,
Yeah.
so listen, so I'm there at
Nah, it's
2:30.
bad in them places.
Oh, sorry, the cashier is closed. I'm like, well, would you be so kind to take the $50 and will you be so kind to give me the permit? Because it takes 3 days in Ministry of CARICOM to apostle the certificate, right, for us to leave. No, not how you just behave with us in this ministry. The woman started to curse and get on. Shoo out of here, get out of here, dude. This is a woman from Ministry of Agriculture on Abercrombie Street.
What's her name?
You know what? I don't even know I didn't even get her name, but she is so a big woman in size in comparison to me, arguing with me and running me out of the ministry, cursing at me. So I just turned around and said, educate yourself on your protocols and policies so that when you are transmitting information to citizens, it does not get tangled up like this. You never said 2 o'clock the cashier was closing. So she withheld the certificate. So I get mad. So I called Minister Kazim. I said, Minister Kazim, I'd like to speak with you. He took the call. I said, I'm having an issue for the past few months with your ministry. However, I know that right now you're probably in a meeting. Is there someone that you can put me on to, a permanent secretary, an assistant, something that I can talk to? So he indeed put me on to the senior person, the chief technician person. That's what you used that phrase just now, a doctor. So Dr. Titus, chief technician for the Ministry of Agriculture, yeah. So I called her, she's in a conference, she can't speak to me. So I said, listen, can you call me back after so that we can discuss this, because I have been having an ongoing problem costing me a lot of money. Not only me, many citizens who's traveling in and out of the country with pets, animals, whether it's service, whether it's regular, they've been going crazy. This Ministry of Agriculture is the worst. So
But I want to interrupt you for 1 second. Because during the lockdown, the daughter of a 1%
oh God.
brought in a dog. Let us say the child couldn't sleep at night because the dog was a service dog or something like that. So during a lockdown, when the airport was closed, they were able to tell you this country colonized. This is
But let me hear the
But
story.
no,
now.
so I reached to Dr. Titus now and I said, I sent 100, could you please speak to me? The minister gave me your contact to address the problem. If your staff is telling you that I cursed them up and leave because I did not get on in that manner, of course I turned around and said, you need to understand your protocol, your policies, and while she's yelling and screaming at me in front of the other persons there. So I said, this is how you want to speak to a citizen? I said, you are a public servant. I'm coming here for a service. You did not specify again your time, your etc., etc. So when I contacted this doctor, she hasn't even gotten back to me as yet. And I said, I wrote her and I said, you're making the problem worse. I said, the minister gave me your contact to address this problem. So I said, you all are making the citizens, right? You all are making the citizens miserable.
You see, and
So it's the same thing. It's the same thing,
I
right?
add to this because the average person can't call the minister.
And I just happened to be passing by and say, Phillip, how you going? Let me come and say hello, right?
No, but just
But
say-
he demonstrated he can't do anything either.
Who? The minister?
Minister.
He put me on to the next person in
But
charge.
I'm
Can't do
saying
nothing.
because he can't do anything.
No, but he
can't
could
stop
not
the
at the
public
time. But the
servant
person
either.
in charge, right, should have said, let me talk to you, let me address it, since the minister called me to address the problem.
Yeah,
but they just put it out the window. They have no
that's
concern.
how they operate. They
Yeah.
will put you on to...
And they don't...
did
when I
that.
call the ministry, hold on 1 minute. When I call the ministry back, oh, you just be rude to me, hang up the phone. When I went back to try to get into the ministry, no, we're not opening the door for you. A pub, isn't the Ministry of Agriculture a pub? This is what I was just faced with. So I'm so upset, and I think, you know what, Phillip, say you will
And she
fix
came
it.
to Phillip,
Fix
and
it.
Phillip said, I got my gavel, thank you.
Phillip, let me see you fix this.
Fix this one.
I deal with that again and fix it. I
Yeah.
want to tell you because there are plenty people who need their doggies.
Yes, and
Phillip.
Doggy love.
I think we need to push for
Yeah, call them.
constitutional reform in this country.
But too many
We're talking after.
too
I
many
think-
times I hear. I don't want to segue him. Too many
Just
times.
sorry, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, that's my question.
No, the question I was asking, and what we need to push for is constitutional reform, because
We
it seems as
absolutely
though
do.
these public servants does not understand their position.
No, but Kurt,
they are there to
absolutely
serve.
don't. I'm a victim of that right now. 2 hours ago.
So what you want to say, because I want to answer that question. I'm
Right.
hoping dovetails.
But too many times I'm hearing constitutional reform. I don't know what that mean. Make a good bread. What did that mean?
Phillip, you hear what
We
I
must
say?
talk.
She put
a
me out of the ministry,
structure
yeah?
Trust me.
to the
Put
people.
me out.
We must talk a structure to the people. What we mean when we say we can't just talk
Constitutional reform.
constitutional reform. What does that mean?
And I said so because
we must
Bastille
structure it down.
Pandey, walking in like the Liberty country, after he come out of
Yeah.
government talking constitutional reform. But I said, you know the things that need fixing. You know the things that need fixing. But let's break them down.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest thing to put into the constitution right now is the right of recall. If you have the right of recall and you could fire those public servants, the members of parliament that you
They
voted
will
in
stand
office for not performing, if they couldn't get away for 5 years and more, just being able to sit there and disrespect her and every other citizen in the country and do whatever they like, because this is do whatever they like, you like land.
Yeah, I
And
wrote
it's
it.
not-
Why,
and it-
why,
and
will
it
you
must
be,
not-
why will you be recalling them if they themselves are convoluting what they are responsible for and what they are not responsible
You know,
No,
public
no.
servants.
or what they can do and what they can't do to the public.
It must not
You know-
be. It must not be the politician doing the firing.
It must
It
be.
must be
Citizen.
a citizen.
The
Well,
voters.
that's
Right.
it, yes.
Recall-
Yeah,
Should be
yeah.
That's what
citizen.
recall is. But you see, there are
That's
other
right.
things. We knew that we needed to add to the constitution when they changed from the Federation of States. They copied and pasted the whole operation manual for the Federation and brought it into tiny Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
And it is too much government and they don't know what they're doing. We have too much
Yes.
government and they don't
They're
know
trying
what
to find a rule for
Yeah.
everybody.
we have too much.
You know, sometimes-
You talking to, listen to what
Yeah.
she talking to. In a country small like Trinidad and Tobago, there should be one person with responsibility for if animals come in and go in or wherever.
Simple.
Come on. How much times you think in the month they're going to deal with that? Somebody's puppy.
No, but after listening to her, to me it seems as though it's something personal.
It is.
With
You
her.
know what she told me?
So
Sasha?
recall the saying that she continue coming here and making noise.
Yes. She said,
She
you've
did-
been so bad with this ministry,
so
you're
to
not
me
getting
something
this permit.
directly
No, but Kurt,
personal
but
I'm
Kurt,
seeing.
it cannot be. I want to
It
tell you
should
something.
not be.
When you go to the
There
bank,
must be a
when you
policy
go to
that
the
guides
bank,
what you
That-
want done.
exactly.
when you go to the bank, when you go to KFC, when you go to the government office, they're supposed to be blind to who you are.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
They're supposed
Policy
to
Understand
guides
it.
what you
Exactly.
do. Policy guides it. Full
Yeah.
stop.
a 3 piece and fries, a 3 piece and
And
fries, you
full
got
stop.
who buying it.
Full stop.
Yeah, you're
and,
correct.
and service to a member because the public. Now and then we have to stray into the asides. When you realize that a lot of these public service job for life that you thought that your mother tell you get it and you have a salary, you didn't realize how horrible the job conditions were. And that you're going in there and then there's more politics and there's politics inside the public service and the public
Yeah.
service association and all of that
But
drama.
This is my famous line. Before we become politicians, doctors, lawyers, CEOs, executive, whatever it is, we are humans.
That's right.
And in order to get to that position, we have to exercise some of our human characteristic. Today, that woman could have just said, all right, I'll take the money and tomorrow we'll process it. Here's your permit because you only have 3 days before your flight. You need to get Ministry of CARICOM to stamp it. But no,
No,
she
you
had a
had to change your
vendetta.
flight. No, you had to change your flight.
No, I don't. I spoke to Ministry of CARICOM and they said, you know, the Ministry of Agriculture is always a mess like this and they always tie up this ministry. So they understand the stupidity at Ministry of Agriculture.
So they like,
they are going to allow me to do it. I'm going to fly on the day that I'm supposed
because
to
I
fly.
have to fly to Boston next month. I want to move
Right.
with my
You
pocket.
go with that?
No, but you have to have, we understand the policies and protocols to follow when traveling in cabin or with a dog or with an animal or whatever it is. But the Ministry of Agriculture does not have that outlined properly. They're always confusing you. They're sending an email late. They're doing this, they're doing that. And it costs you money and time when you have to change flights and when you have to do this. Trinidad and Tobago is the only country that I get so much problems flying with my little dog.
I want to ask a question on this table. You want a cat among the pigeons, and this is what's upset them with me. Why would we have a Minister of Agriculture in a country that don't grow no food?
Because they say
What his job
because
is?
they say they don't have enough land to grow food.
Okay, but so why have a minister?
Well, a minister.
What is his job?
Because they say that I have a ministry.
You don't have to have a ministry.
Well, I mean, that give a man
Prime Minister,
Always laugh and joke at the wrong thing.
that give a man one who levels a job as a minister.
Clarence Rambarat, for all the time he was Minister of Agriculture, he grew a hedge outside Balize House. Why are we paying people, taxpayers' money, to do nothing? There should be people in this country. You see how they fire the third most powerful man in the world, the Prime Minister of Great Britain? That's the fifth largest economy on the planet. When you see
Because they're dealing with ethics.
when you have to go into election in Great Britain out of time, it damages economies, you know.
course, yeah, the
It
slowdown
damages
starts back.
global economy, supply chains at a time straight out of
Yes,
the
yes,
pandemic.
yes.
So, but
With
what-
Russia fighting Ukraine, all this drama. All of that going on. And the people said to the Prime Minister of Great Britain, you lied.
Leave.
And we're not accepting your lie.
Because
That
they are
is
real
people.
Westminster.
Ethical,
Right, the
ethical.
people.
They are real
But you think our
Westminster.
people
They
will
are what-
stand up like
they are
that?
what we-
Sasha,
You think our people going to
our
stand up like
people
that?
have
No, I
to
think
tell...
I think they
No.
understand how important it is.
The people
Their
is.
name is important.
They understand how important the
and the
people is.
people is.
Yeah.
They
Right,
put
the
their
people have
first.
power. Together we
you
have
know
power.
Boris' grandfather called him and said, you can't carry the family name into the gutter.
Yeah.
Correct.
You asked to go into politics, we told you. Brother, when he come out of politics, he part of a family that is part of a greater community. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
In Trinidad, how you people don't care?
Yeah.
You think Faris Al-Rawi care that we think he and his in-laws not entitled to that money that they're getting for them buildings? He doesn't care.
Expert people as an expert.
But he doesn't care. You think the people who trying to separate Wildflower Park just for themselves from the rest of us care what you or I think? The country is not going to change until we move away from the racist politics
Correct.
that has allowed
Correct.
the PNM and the UNC to become footstools of whatever that ruling class is. And we are not going to fix it.
Correct.
We're not going to find out what is Trinidad getting for the $5,000 a barrel of pitch selling, Trinidad pitch that China selling. $5,000 a barrel. How much we getting? Nobody knows.
Out of it, nobody knows.
How do you force them to tell you? How? The Auditor General report always late. If the Auditor General say that a secretary in Tobago responsible for the loss of how much for a rope? $250 million for some zip line. And then the chief secretary say, well, they don't answer to you. When B-Mobile bought Massey
Ampere.
Communication,
Yeah.
the then chairman say, we don't answer to all you.
Yeah.
So if the system don't answer to the people we put there to represent us, what is the system for?
Yeah.
Correct.
So you see what we have to fix.
But I understand what we have to fix. Salman, every
so-
single day of my life, like you all, I wake up and think to leave this
Salman.
failed place to fail. Because it is not easy to fix. And I just want to give one little story. Because I ended up in an argument today with a fellow in a grocery. Because the lines were long, and he was of the view that nothing could fix. And only God could fix it. And I was of the view that no, people need to speak out. That if the manager saw all of the people who were fighting to go through the 3 cashiers, just leave the grocery. The manager would never make that mistake again because their sales would be down and their boss would be calling them and say, what's going on? But so I had to go and do it, and I went and I did it, and I spoke to the manager, and she opened 3 more cash registers, and the lines disappeared. I had to tell the gentleman, I said, that is what fixing it means. The little things, the big things. All of the people inside are here important. All.
Yeah.
All of the people inside of this grocery, in this line, all of them are equally important.
You remember the priest in Germany? that they spoke about in a D-Day celebration in sometime 19 and sometime in 59 that was in a cell, and he said first they came for the socialists and I did nothing because I was not a socialist, and then they came for the trade unionists. I did nothing because I was not a trade unionist, and then they came for the Jews. I did nothing because I was not a Jew. When they came for me, there was no one remaining to assist me.
That Maruga messaging me.
When
I
good
have
men do nothing, right? So
all that is required for
1 minute before you move forward. As small as it might be, a Saturday morning I decided to travel, and I jump in a maxi on the bus route, and the guy he stand there blowing, waiting for his maxi to full. So I said, but I thought you was leaving now. So a lot of people in the maxi saying down, saying, you know how long he's saying he moving this and that. I said, pardon me, not staying here, no, I out. You know what? Everybody in that maxi followed me and went out of that maxi.
So you end up worse.
So you end up even worse. Nobody in the maxi again. Everybody leave.
But you see,
until we stand up for what is little, even the little things, stand up for
Exactly.
but not only that.
Stand up
and
for
I asked you earlier, what
Exactly.
did they break in our minds that when you see somebody suffering, instead of you seeing a brother or sister Trinidadian, you just say, "Why glad to tell me?"
correct.
Trinidadians do not. We will publicly put our money in the collection basket in the church. You see me, the blues, you see the blues on the back. But the reality is, everybody knows right now tonight, there are families sleeping under the overhang on Royal Bank head office on Independence Square. And they've been sleeping there for about 20 years now, I think. And everybody, from the Prime Minister down,
passes there any night.
but they know.
And the excuses, because I remember for the 2050, the 20...
You filmed that. You had that.
Was it the last election, 2020 elections? I would have, when the Reis talk started and you know that kind of thing, I would have filmed that. And the argument was, go Los Angeles, all over the world, it have that. What are you making a fuss about that for? But the thing is, this is Trinidad, and sometimes when we comparing Trinidad, we can't compare Trinidad with nowhere else. If you want to compare Trinidad and Tobago with anywhere else, look at our per capita, look at how much money we earn per capita.
Yeah,
look at how much money we spent over the years per capita, and look at where we could have been, where even the Americans could not have been. So don't compare apples with oranges, compare apples with apples.
But they don't let you do that. They don't let you compare Trinidad with successful countries, but they are glad to compare Trinidad with failing countries. They are glad to say, look, other people have holes, look, other people have flood. They almost celebrate when they see somebody else in misery to justify Trinidad's misery. But as you say, the kind of money that Trinidad had, Singapore didn't have.
Exactly.
Correct.
Singapore never had Trinidad money, and Singapore is a first world developed nation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Finland didn't have Trinidad money, but Finland had the highest standard education in the world. Japan had the best quality of life on the planet. These are countries that it work because the people make it work. The
Correct.
people
The
stand
people.
up and say, this is
Nobody stands up.
unacceptable.
Nobody stands up for
When
themselves.
Rohan Senadan say, pave your own road,
You know.
100,000 people should not be outside Ministry of Works today because every single road user, and I'm telling you, I hit a hole the other day. I just buy my tires from Mileage Mac on Mukarapa Road, and one of my tires
Ain't
is
cheap at all.
$1,800 for the tire. I fall in a pothole and bust a tire, and I'm telling you something. I am damn upset about that.
There are some road by Cashew Garden Shabonas. I drive a 4x4 and free to drive on the road, you know. A 4x4
But
I
they're
drive.
calling
you know.
me. They're calling me. Cashew Gardens calling me. It caused me to. I was going to tell you just about
I'm
Maruga.
afraid to drive on
I have
it.
messages in my WhatsApp. I don't have Maruga people who talk to one another. People from Maruga messaging me. There are no water, there are no roads. The community center is now a Namdevco market. And all that information I talk about. Who is the councillor from Maruga?
I like very
Who is the member of parliament?
See when we start a jam,
Where?
so
But
I'm jamming with you. I
Yes,
want to
but
go by ministry and
unfortunately,
I want to go by
people don't
councillor.
listen.
I want to go by.
I want the
these
people in the street. I want
Yeah.
the people in the street. I want Trinidadians to understand.
You know why?
Inconvenience
You know why?
yourself. Discomfort yourself for a little
You know
while.
why we had to do that, Philip?
But Salwen.
The budget is about $56 billion. We have money to fix it, you know.
Come
Yeah.
on, man.
But they'll tell you
We have
most
the
of
money to-
they'll tell you
it.
most of that budget is in recurrent expenditure.
That is
They don't tell you that to pay
nonsense.
salaries and all
Nonsense.
kind of
That's
things.
so- it's
They'll
not
tell you
so.
that.
I want to tell you something. I work it out the other day.
If we didn't have money to fix,
I
go
hear
ahead.
Peter George Jr. is the chairman of St. Andrew's School, which is the ultra number 1% primary school. That's only 1% to send the children. $24,000 a year is how much it costs to send your child. That school inside of there, everything perfect. We spend $25,000 a year per child. Bitam and Tabakit supposed to have St. Andrews style education because Trinidad children spending more than the 1% spending in St. Andrews. So why is our education system so much crap?
And don't tell
So
me that
why
4
we
billion for
couldn't-
education is salaries alone, you know.
Salwen and
But even if the salaries,
Phillip,
sorry,
isn't
It
safe-
can't.
even if it's salaries, St. Andrews paying high salaries, they have the best teachers.
Yeah, isn't it safe to say, well, the problem may not just be the government, it's the people who put them
It's
there?
the we the people.
It's the
It's come back to we.
Because last time I checked, we're a democratic nation.
Yep.
Where is our democracy being exercised? So take what you get. You know, to have a song, Take Bamboo, as we like to take that. Take it.
I don't know why you say that one. I don't know why you
It's
say
just, I cannot listen. I was so
David,
livid
I ain't
upset
taking no
today.
bamboo. I
So
stand up
many
and
people
talk.
is being democrat. We have to exercise. Listen, all this is here. This is a good talk. It's an intelligent show, but unfortunately, the majority of the Trinidadians will not listen to it.
No, this is
all
stopping.
this,
No, they
all
listen,
has
but
been
this is stopping
happening.
here.
All has been happening is that this government and this politics, anyway, Trinidad and Tobago is right now, has just given people topics to talk around their social circles. Nobody does anything, and they don't want to do anything. As you said, they don't.
Well,
They would
you're
talk
correct.
about it, and
You're
they don't want
correct.
to
You're
do
correct. It
anything.
starts in your neighborhood. You
Look at the simple
look at
thing
how
as
people
Wildflower.
live. Neighbors live with neighbors, and you know,
Yeah.
people
Let me show you
just
something.
you know.
Let me show you something.
A simple thing at Phillip Wildflower
This
Park.
girl is Isabel
Oh, but it
Lopez.
Scroll down. Yeah.
That is Isabel Lopez. Right? And her father put out that she is missing since this morning. Or yesterday she went a jog around Westmorelands and there's not seen her since. I have gotten this about 1,000 times. This circulating through WhatsApp because the community Isabel Lopez is from stands together for things
Yeah.
like that. Stands together for things like that. I have a very vibrant social media and I get hundreds of messages a day. And I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago, we need to be like how that community moved over Isabel. We need to move for every single girl that go missing.
Yeah.
The country must come to a stop.
Yeah.
We must know, you must know, and you must know that your daughter protected if you're not there and something happened to your daughter, that people go in and start working. We don't have nothing like an Amber Alert. And I remember, because I was there, in the communications department, the Ministry of National Security, when Gary Griffith was the Minister of National Security, through the National Operations Center, we had set that up. We had set that up. So it is there 12 years now.
You
You
talking Amber Alert at that Blue Cities. Listen, a man get killed on South Key. And you know the camera, the only camera I seen after we pay probably billions of dollars to put cameras, set up cameras all around, the camera from a store on South Key. The thing is, with real blue cities, you know that you are a security expert. You will know that they even could tap into the camera, your camera on your house once it's outside, to protect your neighborhood. So when something happens, within seconds, if you travel to London, you would know in London, if you commit crime in London, in the city,
ain't getting out.
you ain't getting out.
But I asked-
Within seconds.
But I asked
Right?
a man shoot a lawyer in Grand Bazaar. He got about 6 bullets. And I say, all you ever tried to come out of Grand Bazaar? Grand Bazaar is not grab a exit. Grand Bazaar is the hardest thing to come out of. And anyway you come out of Grand Bazaar, you on a piece of highway locked in a direction.
Yeah.
It's not easy to escape there.
That man escape.
But exactly what you're saying. There's supposed to be a place where they have a police command center where as it take place and they get the thing, they rewind, they see the man, they see his license plate and they fast
And I want to
forward.
say this. And we always say this.
When Dana Sitahan had get shoot on that street heading north into Arapita Avenue traffic on a Friday night,
That's that one-way street.
that was a one-way street.
But you could turn off on
No, you can't.
On-
You could
on-
turn
on-
into
straight
it.
up.
You
No,
could
you're
turn
going- that
into-
is O'Connor Street. It becomes O'Connor Street. O'Connor Street coming down is south. O'Connor Street going up is north. I grew up on O'Connor
Yeah,
Street.
no, but you could turn in. There's a side street you could turn in to go back on
Rice Road?
No, not Rice
Maybe
Road.
Circle?
That is
No.
lower down. That's
right.
lower down. That is
Right. Oh, yes,
that
that's
is
lower down.
Governmental
Yeah,
Street.
yeah,
That's
Governmental
lower
Street,
down.
yeah.
Where she get hit outside there, the street that is across from it that you're thinking about, that is a turn from the Mathison.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
know
yes,
if you
yes.
can go back
Yeah,
that way.
yeah,
Send it back to
yeah,
the-
But the
send it
point
back
is,
to
but
Rice
the
Road.
point is,
You're going
even
back to
if you,
the-
but
the-
even if you go through there, it's either Arpita Avenue or
Road,
Wrightson
no,
Road. How difficult it was to shut that down. We had helicopters, plural. How difficult it was. You coming out in the traffic, they have no clear road on a Friday night. How difficult it was, as you say, they've spent tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in cameras. Plus, everybody house have cameras. You could have patched and try and find that feed if you wanted to catch those people. Trinidad is failing by deliberate design, and every single citizen in this country are in danger. And while you're holding your corner and you're thinking that as long as you protect yours, brother, yours in bigger danger because you're separated, you're so isolated.
And you know, I say all the time, we are just 1.3 million people. Listen, you could buy a package in a box, a software in a box to manage Trinidad and Tobago. From somewhere in the US, Japan, China, somewhere, a software to manage 1.3 million people. Because, listen, your companies in the world, and I say this all the time, with more workers in it than we have citizens in Trinidad and Tobago, and they have software to manage
McDonald's.
this, right?
Walmart,
Right, Walmart,
Railway.
right?
I tell you, I
China, national, all of these
And they
places
know
have
what
more
happened.
people in it than we have citizens
say?
in Trinidad and
And they
Tobago.
know
And they have
exactly what
software to
there's
manage
a human
everything.
resource manager.
As
in
a human
India-
resource person.
There's a human resource manager in India Railway that has more authority and responsibility than the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Exactly,
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
right? So
Let's be
so
real.
you telling me all the money we have here, we don't own anything. A man killing a man, right? You can't find him. You don't know what happened. You're blind.
They buy
Design,
shot spotter.
design.
They buy
Come
shot
now,
spotter
man.
because they copy New York City. They buy shot spotter. Shot spotter is a thing that is measure the angle, the frequency, what type of gun it could tell you.
Is it working? Is it commissioned?
The radar for the hurricane in Trinidad not working. We have to rely on America to tell we how a hurricane, a storm was coming. It is sickening. It is disgusting. And you said something earlier, and I want to agree with you when you said it. We talk too damn much. Trinidadians need to action now, and action is not flying out in the road and pelting stone.
because you know we know-
action
we're not
in the
gonna have
road.
a
You could
future.
just stand down to stand up. We could shut this country down, and I've said this repeatedly. We could shut this country down economically, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And the day you see you start to affect the deposits in the banks is the day everybody gonna stand up and say, all right. They wake up. Let me talk to them.
So I have this question. As yes, correct. Unless we are able to shut the country down and get their attention, but just moving back a little bit. So when they raised the price of flour, what was the country's reaction? I wasn't here.
I am the only clown. I am the only clown. I am in the middle of a freaking protest. I ate a roti or doubles for 3 weeks. You ain't know that was so vexed.
Well, you lost some
Well,
weight.
no, but that's a good thing, That's a good thing,
there.
Because
Both
sugar,
out
because
there.
flour is poison. You know that. Sugar
But you
is
don't even
probably
know.
the
In the United
worst
States-
poison you could put in your body.
In the
I am
United
the
States,
only muck
if they
who
raise
take it seriously. And I protested.
So
And
I
boycotted.
find a bread should be
For your flour, for your
300
20%.
personally.
I ended up buying an air fryer. I cooking all kind of things. You see me experimenting. I did almond flour. God bless your soul to the person who
You know-
made the almond
you know-
flour bread for me, but it tastes like chip mouth. I tell you.
in the United States, if they raise chicken, if they raise anything, these people are going to leave it right there.
Exactly.
Because they are
Right
more-
The
there.
laws of
I mean,
demand and supply don't work in Trinidad and
right
Tobago.
now,
No, the
right now, they
education
It don't work.
system is way
Yeah.
different.
You know why? Because Chinny will tell you, boy, if you don't want to buy it, you leave it there, I go buy it.
Exactly.
That's the worst things, Trinidad. Just tell one
Yeah.
another.
Right
If you don't
now-
like it, here, leave.
So gas has gone up significantly in the US, all around the world actually. But
It's going down, though?
yeah, it's going down because
Going down.
they started the US citizens started to because it was really high. It went from $249 to $599,
Yeah.
$589. So I mean it's US dollars we're talking about, but they started to talk about it. So the US government administration is listening now. But our little country, 1.23 million people, why they can't just stand up for
Sasha,
themselves?
Sasha,
Do you think we need a leader?
Patriotic. No,
Do you
no,
think we
no,
need a
see,
good,
you see,
strong leader
let's
and they will
not-
follow?
no,
We do.
We do?
We do.
And he pointed
I don't think
And he pointed me.
That was your point.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, because when you talk to me about the flower, I was the one who came out and said, if you're saying to Trinidad and Tobago that the reason is the supply chain and it's temporary, subsidize the blasted flour. Because flour is the only thing that affects everybody.
board,
It affects everybody. Fry bake, coconut bake, sada roti, doubles, bread, whatever it is. And you know who
That's
impressed
why,
me?
that's why Trinidad people so fat.
And
and
Rene
very big and
Digans,
they-
Rene Digans,
dialysis and
managing director of Kiss
all kind of
Baking
thing.
Company. I want to put Rene Digans, managing director of Kiss Baking Company, on blast because I give Rene plenty stick, but Kiss ain't raised the price yet, and they threatened to raise the price, and I had put him on blast, and I want to tell Rene, well done, brother, for holding that price, and I don't know how you're doing it, but well done,
Yeah.
because the others like Linda's and them gone up through the roof.
Yeah.
And I
So
watch that, and
expensive.
if I hit in your stick when you're doing wrong, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna put you on blast when you're doing right.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if Linda's really go up, but I'm seeing some bread that Linda's bargain, and it's reasonably, the price is alright. I've seen a lot of people purchasing it.
What kind of price?
That's like
Like pala bread you're talking about? Pala bread.
The
$8
sliced bread, the Linda's sliced bread is
Pala
$18.
bread, not Linda bread.
The
I
Linda's,
see someone
the
I see
Linda's
a
farm
lot
white
of
bread
people
is
purchasing it.
$18.
So I don't
You
know.
sure it's genuine, authentic Linda's? I know people just full their own blue water bottle and sell it.
Well, I don't know. Well, it's something.
But I know it's punching and drinking days, so I try to
It's
figure
something
out.
that they need. It's something they need to take a look into, because they have a lot of people. I
Trinidad
recognize
problem,
that.
two things, is lack of patriotism. That we're not patriotic to Trinidad is why we just say, who are you? You say, we don't say we are Trinidadian, as African.
They
You are
are.
Indian. We don't say Trinidadian like the Englishman, we say I'm an Englishman. They call a black man in England, we say I'm an Englishman,
Agreed.
You don't say I'm a black man, In Trinidad, we identify
And the
ourselves.
hyphenated nonsense about Afro-Trini and Indo-Trini, give me a
Garbage.
freaking break.
But they do the same thing in the US.
No, but give me a break.
I mean, you
So-
say
so-
American, but
Unless
The
yeah.
US has
it comes to you
nobody to follow
directly,
in those things.
unless it comes to your home directly or their home, then they're going to
Because
try
let
to
me
do
tell you why I
something
say
about it.
patriotism,
They're not going to
I should be glad as a citizen. One, I have a job. Two, and I have a job because I have people to serve. And be happy to serve them. That patriotism. I shouldn't have a whip over my head to do my job. So when somebody comes with a dog, I need a dog pass, I should be glad to serve. That's what I'm being paid
Listen.
for.
I think I'm
Why,
one of-
just,
They wasn't
why do I need a
glad.
boss
They was
over my head
upset.
to say, do the form, I'll beat you, do the form. It starts with we. We just be doing
No,
crap.
because Eric Williams presided over a plantation. Discipline, tolerance, production is the watchwords of a plantation. We're supposed to have unity, respect, and excellence
Yeah.
as our watchwords. Trinidad is a plantation. We live like slaves on a plantation, and
Yeah,
we do
Unless
like-
we get whipped, we don't move.
unless
Yes.
we get whipped, we don't move.
So I don't qualify. Yes,
And I
they
don't think,
qualify
I don't
there,
think we
you
really
qualify.
understand.
I don't think they understand
I
the
don't
meaning of
think we understand the
emancipation or
meaning.
But it's not George Beckford
Not
who
just-
wrote
not just
the Plantation
emancipation.
Economy.
Emancipation
I think we,
independence.
I think we
One
do
of
really
them,
understand
plantation.
independence is one, and I think we have a serious problem in serving. They don't understand what service really
We get
means.
tapped with
and how-
service and servitude, eh?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
get tapped with the
something is wrong.
boat.
You understand?
Yeah.
With that, and as a country, because when you watch
Brother,
Japan,
brother,
when you watch
they
Japan, who would go in the World Cup,
the man.
and when they leave, no paper, no kind
Nothing.
of paper, nothing.
Clean up, they clean up the other side.
They clean
Yeah,
up.
They clean up the competitor side. I was telling them
to
last
show
week.
the people.
And the athletes just
the
get
people
involved in
is
cleaning
conscious.
it.
Man, the people
Because
in
their
the
culture
stands,
different.
The people in the stands clean up their rubbish and the competing
Yeah,
side
yeah,
rubbish.
I saw
No,
pictures.
So what I'm saying is, when I am in my vehicle, nobody chose anything out of my vehicle. until I reach a bill to do that. I just say, let it start with me.
Yeah, I do that too.
Let it start with me.
I believe it.
Nothing to be thrown out of my
door is a
vehicle.
dustbin for me. Well, that's all I looking for back.
Yeah, I look exactly.
So you know what?
So if it is that we start one by one,
Yeah, we're not
dealing with these
patriotic.
issues,
We're not
yes,
patriotic to our own
we would
community.
choose.
So you had to start there. You see where we going? I like where we going because there's where you had to start. You had to start with the citizens.
Individually.
You had to
Man
start
in the
with
mirror.
I told
Yeah,
her
yeah.
before you start blaming the government
Trinidadians.
because they are microcosm of us.
We put them there.
And the thing is, you have to start with them. You have to start with us.
Out of us
Right?
comes the government
We
that
could-
we have.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
so how do you get Trinidadians to stop being Syrian
I don't know, you
and Chinese
You
and
can't,
white?
you can't legislate
African.
patriotism and ethics
No.
and moral and spiritual values. You can't
No,
legislate
they create
that.
a nonsense equal opportunity tribunal and it doesn't do what it says it's not to do. We make
thing.
plantation responses. We do not run this country like a country. So when you said earlier, in most countries, I mean, you think the black people in America who was fighting Black Lives Matter think they are any less American? You're talking about service. I was going to tell you just now.
So-
in Mexico, they have resorts that are 6-star and 7-star resorts that have people with 2 and 3 degrees working in service because you just get all kind of $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 tip. You're dealing with the big, the creme de la creme. Trinidad and Tobago could be one of the richest countries in the world. Forget oil and gas.
Yes.
Agreeing with you.
Forget
Yeah.
oil and gas. On just service. Singapore do it on service.
Yes.
Shipping. Dubai did it on
Yes,
shipping.
Dubai.
Oh, God, come
Yes.
on. We know these things.
Yes.
There are people in this country. They are the brightest in the world at what they do. They're gone. We could bring them back.
Yeah.
They're missing home. There are people who tell me what I want is the first world experience that
Yeah.
I'm accustomed to, and I want Trinidad.
So I'm pulling your point and I want to agree with you. We need leadership, yes. And we need leadership by example. And that is what we're lacking in terms of leadership because running organization I have done, being in ministries, I led by example. And people followed the example. The problem we have in, let me give an example of why I say that. For somebody to say a minister thief money, he has to be aided and abetted by
Business.
the state,
Alright.
the public servant. You don't do an estimate, you don't do a design, you don't need tenders committee, you don't sign a check, you don't write a contract. So we
But
need
there's somebody on the other side of the divide who's responsible for the supply side of that theft. We do
So it's
projects.
3 set of people.
We do projects and contracts to thief.
So it's 3 set of people. The contractor, the minister who we say thief, and the public servant who inside of there cooking the book for all this thing to happen with both of them and so forth.
Correct.
And you see where the change has start taking place from?
You tell me
Because
that you
if
put,
the man in the ministry do aid and abet, no thieving can take place by no minister, you know.
and that's the point. You
If
said,
the man in the
you
system
said-
they below the permanent secretary,
permanent secretary is your
doesn't
accounting
get
officer.
involved in the corruption. You see, I'm trying to deal with root cause analysis here.
Stephen
Where the real
Mathison.
problem
Stephen
is.
Mathison is the
Because-
permanent secretary, the accounting officer.
He is.
$3 trillion stolen in this country. The permanent secretary is aided and abetted in that crime.
100% so.
Yeah.
Minister can't sign no
He
check.
can't sign no check, he can't do no estimate, he can't do no scope of work, no bill of quantity, he can't do nothing. But we'll vote out government and voting government by saying what? They thief, they thief, they thief, they thief. And then we go and work with the same people who aid and abet the person we accuse of thieving.
Correct.
We kind of cook
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
We
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of cook you
Yeah,
know.
So here what the problem really is, and I
And
hear
the same
and
public
I hear
servant, you know what they say? They just come and go, man. We always here.
And I hear you. That is why, and I'm
they
hearing
just
you.
come and go, you know. We always here.
Selvon, I'm hearing you, and that's why I'm saying that we had to understand the difference between the state and the MPs, the
Executive,
politician, the
yeah.
executive, right?
City.
The legislature.
And the legislature. And the thing
And
is,
two things to say.
we have to understand that both the PNM and the UNC is responsible, and we have to move both of them. Because both of them collectively could fix Trinidad and
Could fix
Tobago.
it.
Could have. But they can fix it tonight.
Right? They could fix it tonight.
No.
They could say who you sleep with by legislation. and make that work. They could say how much time you sleep with your wife when the night come. They could do that. Well, you hope they make that. But they have the power to they have the power to do that. But what I'm saying is
every week
like
at this
that,
hour in the show, he just get drunk and just talk.
no. What I'm saying is they have the power to do that. They have the this is Rum Shop Talk. It's Rum drinking here. They have the power to do that. And what I'm saying is, if we understand at the end of the day, while they are not directly responsible for most of the ills,
they could put policies
they are
in place to
indirectly
correct
responsible.
it.
Collectively, they can do everything to
After
the
paragraph 4 of the Constitution, after paragraph 4 of the Constitution, everything after that is a law. There is a law, and the Parliament writes the law.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everything is a law. Everything, the operation of central bank, the operation of banks in the country, how the ministries work, all of those things are laws. You write a law. Representation of the people is a law. We could fix everything. The Parliament has the tools and the authority to fix it. What he just said is an absolute fact. If Kamla Prasad, Bissessa, and Kate Rowley really had the interest of this country at heart, they would fix it tonight. All of the crime, they would secure the borders, they would end the drug trade, they would end the country, they would make sure the banks are accountable to the people. You will not have your resting balance in the bank depleted by ridiculous fees and charges. Every single thing in this country that needs fixing could fix in that Parliament to an absolute
And until parties start talking like that, they're wasting with time.
So when you
Sasha need to leave the Rum Shop.
when you go on radio or television and you talk all this thing about you could fix it, you have to understand you could only fix it collectively.
One
right?
can't fix it.
So the thing
We
is,
need to win 41 seats.
Yeah. So don't feel that all the things you're saying that you fix all the superficial things that are happening, that you could win 3 seats or 10 seats or 15 seats and fix anything.
No.
You might be Prime Minister.
I said, if we want a simple majority,
unless you don't have a recalcitrant opposition, you're not going to get nothing fixed.
I am not going to that Parliament to argue with Jack Warner. I'm not going to argue with Adam Roberts. I'm saying that to use those things I reason. I'm not just saying this one thing.
You want to decide.
If we win a simple majority, I will have one act to dissolve Parliament. The people not ready. Go back to the polls. You need a new government. You need a fresh government. You need a fresh government with.
You need a new group of people.
And you need to give them. You need to give them. You need to give them the authority.
Not what we currently have. We need new people.
You need to give them the authority to amend the Constitution to make sure that the people of Trinidad and Tobago represent exactly what they are calling for.
Yeah.
Stephen,
thinkers. You need thinkers to run this country.
I am of the firm view that we definitely need a re-education. When I say education,
I agree with you.
Of how the government run and everything, because you have young kids coming out of colleges don't want to have anything to do with politicians. Being a politician seems to be something
they don't even want to stay in Trinidad. Out of college, you want to go.
And because of the lack of knowledge and understanding how these things work, I am saying that we need to really and truly we need to go out and educate them on these things and have them get involved in this. Because the people at the end of the day does not understand their rights. That is why a lot of these things happening. So at the end of the day, we are the cause of it.
You have it too, Phillip. Yes,
we are the cause of it.
Sense of food sovereignty of people. You know, everyone's talking about the Ukraine war and Russia, but the reason African countries are hungry is because their ability to produce their food was destroyed by the right to dump by Cargill. Cargill wrote the agreement on agriculture, and then the junk food industry, the Pepsis and Cokes and Nestle's, wrote the sanitary and phytosanitary agreement and created the Codex Alimentarius to shut down healthy food and pushed the food that gave us illnesses, 75% chronic diseases. This is not a conspiracy. There is evidence that the corporations wrote the rules. Then it created the billionaires. Now the billionaires rule the world. And I call them the 1%, not because they're 1%, they're just a handful. And when you ask me, you know, what's the optimism? For me, the optimism is a pathetic group of ignorant, selfish men are not more powerful than all the people who've occupied the palace of the president in Sri Lanka. The farmers who've occupied the streets of Netherlands. people have power. We've been made to think we are inert. We've been made to think nature is inert. And all it is a colonization of our mind. The minute we become free and say, we are part of nature, we are creative, and we are powerful. Powerful in a different way. Powerful in the way of Shakti. Powerful in the way of non-violent resistance, of absolutely refusing to be colonized.
That is it.
You understand what I'm saying?
But he said, listen, man, say Phillip was an Indian woman.
That epitomizes what we've been saying here.
That is the problem in our country. We are enslaved,
colonized. So I want to ask you.
Trinidad and Tobago need to emancipate themselves. People need to emancipate themselves from mental slavery, because that is exactly what
my
is
daughter is coming out
happening.
with a song. Are we really free?
No, they're not. They don't understand.
Are we really free?
They do not understand. So
wait to hear
guys,
it.
rum shop guys, I know this is rum you're all drinking and not water. I'm sure if you had some white oak and vodka and things, people would have punched it. Oh God, punch it.
You know how he was on if this was really wrong. Drink water way into the show.
Okay,
This is episode 6.
I was drinking. Listen, I was drinking my water and mind my business like Patrice, right? I was doing that, and today I went to that ministry and they really tipped me off. You have to deal with that and
No,
fix
you're
it.
dealing with it. You're giving
But
information.
in essence, you know, I got to go from the rum shop. You are right. The Trinidadians, people of Trinidad and Tobago, one, a friend just messaged me and he said, you know, they are not patriotic to their own country.
Yep.
Two, they do not understand in the emancipation and independence. We have to emancipate ourselves mentally from that slavery that we are told to do A, B, and C, and you accept it because it's only the rich is getting richer. The poor is getting poor. The middle class is done in this country. People with education are leaving. We're leaving. We're going. What is there? What is left here? And finally, Phillip, come down.
She flowing nice, huh?
She did
She
nice.
flowing good.
Yes, you know, and finally, no, take it easy with the wildflower people. Okay?
No, but
So I
Sasha,
gotta go and
it was a real
It's a
pleasure having you here.
Yeah.
I like how for the first half you kept Stephan distracted, so he didn't
He was not.
talk as much.
Family
Because-
started coming in my outfit, but by the way, so I had on my gym outfit today, right? So the ministry did say, oh, sorry, you can't come in here dressed like that. I said, okay.
That's Trinidad.
That's Trinidad.
That is
Trinidad.
But we
Thanks
have
for
a
joining
lot of
us.
issues to deal with. Phillip,
Thanks for joining us.
continue
And I
the good
know-
work.
Yeah, send me the info and we want you on board and we're going to talk that after.
We knew
Sasha
and
Singh,
knew. Sasha
Trinidad and
Singh.
Tobago.
Yes. Take
Nice having you,
care.
ma'am.
All right, guys.
And Selvon, and I want to bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to bring it back to this, and I need for you to hear, and this is important. If the people of this country are to wake up, we have to start putting on blast, not just because you keep saying, name the minister, name the councillor, name the permanent secretary. I agree with that.
Yeah.
You had to name too. You had to name all the people who sitting idly by and not even attempting to try to rescue the country. All of those people who God have blessed, who life has blessed, who have a good life, who have Stephan, you understand what I'm saying?
They
have
sitting by quietly.
they living well.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity. We all here for a blink, you know. We all here for a time between birth and death, and our responsibility is to leave this place better than we found it.
Yes.
That should be every man's responsibility.
When I look at, I listen sometimes to UNC have a Monday meeting
Monday
or
night
something
forum.
like that. And they're not really addressing anything. What happens with the politics now is this party cuts this party.
Bacchanal.
And this party cut, and nobody are talking about what are the things we need to change.
And the media selling, the media
And
using it to sell papers.
Yeah.
Because those
Nobody
of us who
talking
actually
change.
talking issue, talking change, because all of a sudden they're using the word remedial classes. They wasn't using the term remedial classes when I was the one who was telling them that's what you need for these children. You need to slipstream them now into remedial classes because you failed them.
Yeah.
You need to deal with them. And you have a responsibility to them, because if you don't, police running down them 9,000 children 5 years from now.
Yeah, that is. I think that would be some problem. That would be before us, because I think some of our crime issues would have taken place even under Eric Williams. And I say the post-primary. Some of those guys who would have, some of those students who would have been in post-primary and education didn't move forward. That is how it is most of them would have ended up guns in their hand. They end up being idle just on the streets. Nothing, because I think that kids at the end, they develop differently. We need to change the education system and how people develop. Some might be very good with their hands, but I know back then under Robinson, on A&R Robinson, he had certain things in place. I think under the PNM too had certain things in place where we would find a lot of young children who would not involved in the not too well in the academical field. They would have used their hands.
But the world just found out, and I said this last week during COVID, the world just found out that the important people in the world are the mid-level technicians.
Correct, yeah.
The support staff.
Yeah, the support staff.
The doctor can't run the hospital, it's the nurses that run the hospital. They have 1,000 nurses for every one doctor. Who do you think really taking care of you?
As I say, COVID. You know, Trinidad and Tobago, the leaders have learned nothing from COVID. Nothing. We have a serious transportation problem in Trinidad and Tobago. Poor transportation system. We have all kind of problem with human resource management. And you have nations like Japan, even the US, who understood that there was less need for mass people coming to offices and doing certain things during COVID, so that most people were working from home and that kind of thing, and they benefited from that. They understood what they benefited from the reality of what happened. Now, you listen to the Minister of Labour and even the Minister of Education saying that the government has no response on work from home, policies and that kind of thing. They're making no legislation to be able to do that. But anybody could I don't know if anybody can answer the question as to why 80, 90, 250,000 people have to leave where they live to come to Port of Spain.
No, it is ridiculous. But I want to tell you, I was just going to say this.
When you could just institute a policy.
Mayor Motley took advantage of the opportunity and sold, not just work from home, work from Barbados. People from countries left their homes and went to Barbados and set up shop. She gave them life in the tropics, and you're doing the same job you was doing. They made sure that you were able to telecommute, and that is all it matters.
That's right.
250,000
you beef up your telecommunications, your internet and that kind of thing. You have no problem. I mean, why you need me in our office?
Marty, you go back to the structure that we need to change. That
because
says
of the plantation, they want to count heads at the start and at the end.
Nonsense.
That says this. You really feel the Minister of Labour have the capacity to come up with a plan to deal with the movement of the workforce? No, you see, we expectation is like looking for magic show, this magic show, because we have a ministry of technocrats, and they relying on them people and them to tell them, hey, you could do this, minister, we could do that,
Selvon, they sit in a cabinet, and they must understand that all of those ministries are supposed to work together to give the country the quality of life it's looking for. You're talking about transportation. Let me answer this.
Yeah.
When school closed, where the traffic? So obviously, zone the schools, no traffic. 250,000 people coming into Port of Spain every day, morning and evening to work. That is no longer sense. It no longer makes sense. So let us talk all the different ways. I just want to say this. Let me just say this.
No. It
benefits Doma. It benefits Doma. They want to sell pants and shirts. But I want to ask you a question. You could sit down, the average technocrat could sit down and say, let's work out all the different ways that people who work in my organization don't have to physically be present here. Because the country, and then you could identify of the 250,000 people, maybe 75,000 people are important to physical presence. And then you set up those offices in the center of the country.
No, but they are so fair. Where you could work from home with a computer.
And I want to ask Gregory Aboud of Doma. You see, all these people talk on big platforms like if they have the nation's interests at heart. I want to ask Gregory Aboud of Doma, would you support the decentralization of Port of Spain into the center of the country to end that traffic nightmare?
And increase productivity.
It will increase productivity. Yeah. People will, but they talk about the children that grow up in the back seats of cars.
Yep.
3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening. It is unfair.
Yep.
We've been criminal to the development of to the people in this country now.
And I want to pull it. I like to pull it back to one fundamental thing. For example, two things. It is done by policy. You know who developed the policy for the cabinet to approve? Is the technocrats in the ministry, you know.
Yeah, but he says instructed by the manifesto. So the government
Yeah,
after the
but
government
again,
they make some promises. Kurt was telling
yeah,
me
they
just
make-
now.
yeah, they
Kurt
make-
said just now. So there are people in this country that are not academically inclined. They have sporting people. They have artistic people. They have entertainment people. We have some of the best people in every group of those things we just talked in the world,
Yeah.
and we don't respect that.
And hear what? So,
Where are the
the
trade
minister-
schools?
just a-
Where are the trade schools?
Yes,
Air
but-
conditioning. Air conditioning. He told you just how
Plumbing.
telecommunication. You know they said the two growth poles of the world going to be shipping, couriers, and telecommunication. That's it.
Yeah.
Shipping,
Yeah.
couriers, and telecommunication. They
Yeah.
say the factory of the future.
Services.
They say the factory of the future will have as employees a man and a dog. The man job is to feed the dog. The dog job is to bite the man if he touch anything.
I want you to go back to fundamental. Yeah, show me off, you know. Yes, show me off. Here it is. I want
No,
you to
but
go
yeah,
back. I want you to go back to a fundamental thing, guy. We're looking at, we have a cabinet, it's the executive of the country. Ask ourselves, we have to be logical to ourselves, you know. Do you see the capacity inside of there
No.
to bring about policies for these changes? Yes or no?
No, no, no.
But
And the
they-
answer is no. So
but-
stop. So they rely now on technocrats in the ministry to come out with a plan for them to get their wish list realized.
Okay, so I want to
And
answer.
then the
You just
technocrats-
asked me
Yeah.
who formulates government policy, and I wanted to answer you and tell you who is supposed to formulate government policy is political will, and political will should come from the people.
Good.
The people of the country supposed to
Yeah,
be
the
telling you.
people
And just
correct.
who is in the ministry? The people is in the ministry, and we screwing ourselves all
Brother,
the time.
these people don't understand
So
why
all
we
the
have a
people in the
cabinet.
ministry who are to come to town, they shouldn't be glad to do a policy that they work from home or say in Sando.
But you are assuming.
that's-
You are
that's
assuming.
a
You are
government
assuming. You
policy.
see. You see, when you say these things, you forget that there are two types of people in politics. There are the supporters and the beneficiaries. And the beneficiaries, who we refer to as friends, financiers, and family,
yeah.
those people, that's why I put this at Gregory Aboud feet just now. Because Doma likes to speak like they give a crap. And if they really did give a crap, the 250,000 people would not, and Patrick Manning knew. There was studies on his desk that he was not supposed to build all those government campuses in town.
Agreed.
Those were supposed to build in the center of the island. But you fit in the national polity to somebody else's family plan. That they buy up town and they have all the businesses, so they want to make sure that they support the government. They're building all the campuses, they're bringing it
so
to
when they're
100.
going home, they shop by me before
The
they go.
voters are the least to benefit from the PNM and the UNC every single time. And when they say on the night the election is we time now, as always ask them,
Who is
the
we? Who is the we?
Who you think just
Can
won?
be.
Who you think just won?
Yeah.
Because I know they have a place around the savannah, a little cottage, that the people they have a bag of red and they have a bag of yellow. And the election votes counted. And whoever win, bring out that bag.
Yeah.
And we all partying and drinking. It doesn't matter to them.
People have to realize, and I'm kind of glad the road condition is as it is. I'm kind of glad it's 0001. I'm kind of glad because something had to shake people for them to wake up, you know.
But
When
you
they
know why-
realize when you drive and the whole car disappear in the pothole, they say, shit,
You know why you don't have
So,
Yeah,
so
but
people,
because
so
things
people
too
watching,
nice.
people watching Phillip, they're watching Duke, they're watching whoever, and they're saying, well, I mean, I ain't seen nothing else, so we gotta put back the UNC or the PNM. But the thing is about, it's not that, it's not about them.
Yeah.
It's about you moving a group of people that have been here since 60 or how much years, and they have shown, they have demonstrated by their ineptness what they haven't done.
Contempt for the people.
That they just don't have an
They don't
idea
care.
what they need to
But
do.
they don't
With
care.
the resources are
I
trying to
think
make
they
more.
know. I think they
So
don't care.
Just give somebody else a chance.
No, but I think they know what need to happen, but it's who it is calling the shots.
Good. I want to tell you this.
I think
sir.
they know.
You need a government that does not have people calling the shots other than the voters.
people.
That's
Exactly.
right.
That is
That-
what
that
you
we
need.
need.
This thing about
Exactly.
calling the shots, and I want to say this again, that we are very, very much for capitalism. I'm not for monopolistic capitalism.
Okay.
I want a level play field. I want
Correct.
everybody to have a chance to maximize their potential. And if your child is the best manufacturer, the creator, whatever of this and that, he must have the same opportunity as an next-man child, because he rich and the child went to school and he come out no passes, but still, he's the managing director. We need meritocracy again in this country.
Meritocracy.
When you look at Singapore, in Singapore there are trees.
They invest.
They have made fake trees that trap more carbon than actual trees, and they also give off Wi-Fi signals. I mean, it's ridiculous to think of the amount of technology that these people are
I don't want to
putting.
go Singapore, you know. Next time we talk about Rwanda.
Rwanda, yeah.
Yeah.
Rwanda.
Yeah, they have been
Rwanda
The
there.
fastest
during-
growing economy.
Fastest growing economy right now in the world.
COVID, they put up a satellite for themselves, you know. Every child had internet.
No, everybody, you say Rwanda, they will think Hutus and Tutsis.
Yeah, that's what
That's
they
all they will
think.
think. Massacre. That's all Google will tell you.
Yeah.
But Rwanda, and I know
It's the
because
fastest growing economy
but
right
Rwanda
now.
has more women serving in their government than any country on the planet.
Yes.
I follow these things, and I know, and I think
And
that-
they come, this would happen within 10 to 15 years after
changed.
that genocide.
How does
See
this-
how they do that in short
Selvan, how does this world
will,
how
the
does
will,
this
the will.
world make sense when Africa, that has the most of all resources in the world, is the poorest nation in the world? How is it so easy to divide people? How is it so easy to get people to work against their own best interests? How is it so easy to bribe one person at the top of the pyramid to make life hard for the people at the bottom? And that is Trinidad. Trinidad is a little version of all of those despotic banana republics. We have people in government, Kit Rowley and Kamla Prasad Bisesa. I remember when the Chinese people were here when Kamla was Prime Minister, and the Chinese man throw all the media out. Remember, in some hotel, they throw the media out, they say you can't cover this part of the conversation. And they pretend to be in charge. And I don't think Singapore, that is a third the size of Trinidad and Tobago, is subservient to any of these superpowers. So why should Trinidad and Tobago be subservient? Singapore has 5.2 million people. We have 1.4. We're not even interested in development. We went to Venezuela and bring their poor and their huddled and their suffering and prostituted them. We didn't want to bring them here and say, tell me what is your ability, your skill set, what is your level of knowledge, so that we can advance our own development.
value. How we can add
create.
value.
You add value.
Yeah.
They don't even know Kit Rowley. You say add value, you just cuss Kit Rowley. He don't know what that means. Our parliament talks shit on cue. The
Parliament
Speaker
is
of
a
the
joke.
House
The
in Trinidad
Parliament
and
is a joke
Tobago,
right now, in my opinion.
but the Speaker of the House is a joke, and they've reduced the Parliament to bacchanal and noise. What did you expect to materialize on the ground if people looking at the highest offices in the land and seeing them getting on like that?
That's why people don't want to get involved in politics.
That's tell you.
Because that is where they think politics
No,
is.
this one-
Geometry.
no,
we,
this one
have
tell you.
to, we have to demonstrate
Politics
that
of
politics
geometry.
is not, you know.
That is why we
politics
need
are-
a re-education on exactly what it really politics and
I agree with you on that,
That's
Yakut, but I
exactly-
want to tell you something. At some
totally.
point, all of us big and we have sense, and all of us know that this is not working. And Trinidadians have to realize, if you're still voting for PNM or UNC, you're damn racist, because there's nothing those parties bring
I
in.
haven't said you're racist, you're just a clown.
But if you're voting based on skin color or race, what is that? What is that?
If you see people, serious people come out of places like the PNM, and you still want to vote for them, something wrong with you. I remember a man was a chief secretary in Tobago. He said when shark jump out of the ocean and say don't go in there because there's a shark inside there, you had to be mad to go in there still. That was London who said that. You understand? It's craziness.
We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we're supposed to be able to say to ourselves that we have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to the three people on this table. I have a responsibility to the people behind the scenes in the camera. I have a responsibility to the staff. I have a responsibility to people who I don't even know who God put across my path tomorrow. I have a responsibility to help those who don't have as much as me. I have a responsibility to help those who don't know as much as I do. I have a responsibility because in a matter of years.
So you're talking country first
But
then?
it has to be.
Country first.
But Selvan, it has
But
to
that
be.
is what it is. That is what it is. That is what it is. We need to be talking. The Congress of
first.
Equal is speaking that country.
But this
country.
say-
And
Country
I
first. That
you
is what we
see,
are speaking.
Say,
Philip, sometimes your
speaking
message get lost because you sound like you're attacking the people
Sound like another political
who,
party attacking that.
who really is incapable of thinking or doing the things that they should be doing, when really you should be attacking the state that is responsible for doing it. So I think sometimes you need to direct your conversation in a different kind of way, so that it will be more palatable to the people who want to.
No, but you see, the biggest thing I ever
the people who want to really.
Because we're giving the politicians and them.
No, but Stephan, I voted.
Stop talking about them. They ain't making sense.
We're giving them a level of importance that they do have. Is I am important.
Yeah.
We had a
talk to the people. Talk to the people.
Let me talk to each other. Them, you see, once we start talking to each other, they will fall in line.
This is what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And again, in my mindset, and you keep referring to it, we believe in our politics of equals. We believe in you bring to the table what you know.
Yeah.
I can't do what you know if you know what you know better than me.
Correct.
I keep referring to people like Dr. Reis for long. We have him in Trinidad. Let the man deal with the traffic.
Yep.
You have Atto Bolan is demonstrating himself. Let him deal with the sports. Why can't we do that?
Yep.
Why are we so selfish? Why are our interests so naked and self-serving that we don't see that you say the country first? The average person is supposed to say, but if these people, I mean, they begin, what is Gandhi say? First they laugh at you, then they ignore you, then they fight you, then you win.
I say something to Selvon outside earlier. I don't know if it will make sense, but the thing is, we are not appreciated. When I say we are not, people who think are not appreciated in the way they should be appreciated. Because if a white man with less education and less brain cell and less critical thinking skills than you come and give to the government a plan to solve the traffic problem, right? They will more than likely gravitate towards that and say, well, the US, a man from the US or Scotland or something, than they will give you. Who tell them, right? So I mean,
anybody who look like Massa.
Yeah. Anybody who look like Massa, they will listen to them.
The private security bill. The private security bill, they bring a guy from England whose system totally different. Culture totally different. Behaviors are totally different to transform minds.
I remember that because I was at that first joint select meeting.
Did you realize that the companies that were brought low, CL Financial, Clico, and Jack Warner. I asked Jack Warner in an interview. I said, Jack, if you were white, you think you would have this much problem? Jack said, if my eyes were blue.
No, but I mean, it's a real thing. It's real.
There are businesses in this country that are massive organizations that couldn't begin to explain where they started from and how they get to be where they are today.
Yeah.
And that is their business, and they will deal with that and God. Because they have no system in the country. I can't say they will deal with that injustice system in Trinidad and Tobago. They don't care.
Yeah.
But when you want to go after and pull down what you want to pull down, it happens. And I'm saying to people in Trinidad and Tobago, this is not race talk at all. This is us plain mind to what our history has been, who we are, what we've left behind. When I look at Mova, Beatam, Lavantil, and Silots, and I think about Beethoven, what he would have been if he never had access to a piano. Mova, Beatam, Lavantil, Silots. We've robbed people of massive potential. They can't get a cricket pitch, they can't get a football field, and I'm telling you.
No, but they get some swimming pool and thing, but they have it closed all the time. No, they get one somewhere in Lavantil, they get one in Mova, in the back of Caledonia. But them swimming pool closed all the time. You can't go inside there.
No. I think they now have they're teaching people to swim in it. I honestly believe.
The Coast Guard.
I honestly believe that we could have lots of George Boffin coming out of Lavantil and also Mova.
Look at Nelson Street. Look at that massive piece of land that they have on Nelson Street. Nelson Street and Independence Square corner. A 5-story building used to be Workers' Bank or something.
Yeah.
Why that can't be a homework supervision center free? That thing will cost you $100,000 a month to run in salaries, $200,000 a month. Spend that money, you will get that money back from police having to run down the people in the community.
We actually doing is investing in the people.
But of course, when you look at the people in Never Dirty and not Never Dirty, in Cocoreed Waterhole Harding Place, them little fellas sitting down on them steps of that mountain staring at the sea and they can't get it anymore because from Peaks to Bayside to Westmall, it's blocked there. These people used to make a living in the sea.
Yeah.
You come and fool them and build a fish fry center in Carnage, but where these children supposed to go? Where? And if Trinidad is now, they don't know how to ask that question because they've been left behind. Birds born in a cage think flying is an illness.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're correct.
Exactly. And that is what you're doing.
that is
That's
exactly
what you're
what
doing to
happening.
the young minds today. TikTok, Instagram.
All these little girls
all
dancing
these-
and shaking
all
the
these
bottom.
little girls
You
just
telling them that's what they're
advertising
born for?
themselves.
But that's what they're born for?
Yeah.
You trying to tell me that these girls, if you gave them opportunity, they would not maximize their
They will,
potential?
they will. They just need an opportunity. I to be honest with you, I originally from Laventil,
But you know,
and I see the kind of work that these brothers and them put on all day, and it's so
Yeah.
hard to work
Yeah,
it
of course.
in Laventil.
Of course.
Good.
And I say, if these people really understand,
Yeah. The potential that
rich
there is in these kind of
potential.
places in Laventil and
Africa
Mova and all these
Africa
places.
had science when England was living in caves.
Yes, that is true.
imagine that.
Africa had science and
Boat building and all that
astrology
kind of thing.
when England. Listen, man.
For real.
Listen, I understand. Egypt is not a white land.
No.
Ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia and Babylon and Persia and these countries had real science that we built on and came to
Yeah.
where we
Yeah,
are
of
today.
course.
So let's pay attention to that and let's not marginalize people because of their skin color and why is there so much racism in our planning and development? Why are we not looking at people and seeing where the need is and going in there? And I was going to say just
And
like
it's institutionalized, eh?
Prakash Ramadhan asked me years ago when he had no come in the government, and I was in the Congress of the People, and he asked me, he said, if you were to get a ministry, what you want? I said, create a ministry because Muhammad become Laventil Silot. Because I would like to go in there and help people. We had created this whole study we had done. It was called Reis. They take it and they give it a camera and they make a song called Together We Will Rise. Together We Will Rise meant twinning Westmoreland with Beetham and Bayshore with Laventil and identifying, because we saw that there were things that the children in the middle class communities, I'm talking 1% nonsense here, the children in the middle class communities after school, they had football and ballet and gymnastics and stuff. The people trapped in Mova, Beetham, Laventil and Silot, they had passa.
But right now, that TikTok and
No, but you
Instagram.
know, we
Yes.
had a program NGC sponsored some years, the basketball, the community basketball league.
Community. Lots
and
of
so
basketballers
forth.
was coming
And
in.
let me tell you something, it was the most of the activity taking place in communities, you know. Man was so tired, they didn't have time to go and rub nobody, you know.
No.
Because every man on the court sweating because it's competition.
All the
you know,
stadiums in the
that.
country
But
closed
busy.
today.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
stadiums closed today. I tell people, AC Milan and Inter Milan, two of the biggest football clubs in the world, share one stadium for years. Why it is our stadiums not open for people to
And we
share?
have so much.
And we
Yeah,
have so
we
much.
have
And
so
if you
much.
create
Yep.
these kind of activities in the
Activities,
community,
yeah.
a competitive spirit, you will. I mean, you
Not
go
only-
places
not-
no, but here what?
like Gandhi and these places.
only
You,
that.
I mean, people are
Not only that.
literally locked in with nothing to
Nothing
do.
to
I
do.
mean,
The idle,
it's
the
just-
idle.
It's just
Listen to me.
idle.
I am, as you everybody know, I participate in boxing. I am down in Badlon Street coaching young upcoming athletes. There are some athletes, some young boxers who never ever had a passport, and they are now representing this country, you know. While I'm down there, these kids come in and I see a young girl just flipping, about 9 years. I say, who is your parent? You have a talent here that we could.
There's the Ministry
that-
of Social Development
Yes,
and so
we
forth
have
to
a
look and
talent
grab
here.
these
You
people
Remember,
and
we were
support
part of
them.
What
a
we doing
committee
here?
in 2015
Yeah.
with
Then and
we have a
to
talent
develop
here.
Laventil.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? What do you do with that plan?
I don't know. What they
So-
do with it? Give
But
them
look-
it.
There is so much talent
But look at that.
that could
Look
uplift
at
these,
that.
that could
Look at
uplift
that.
us.
Look at Dwight York. There was a time in the world, Brian Lara was the #1 cricketer in the world. Dwight York was the most expensive footballer on the planet.
Yes.
Danny Glover was in Trinidad filming some new frog they find. I was thinking Trinidad is at its highest peak.
Yeah.
We were going places. If you tried to just give everybody the same. If we wanted what I want for my children, when I look at my little daughter, what I want for her, if I want that for everybody else's daughter, then we win.
True.
All of us. Yeah.
Then
All
we
of us.
win. Why must I think that she alone? Why are there people in this country who think like that?
Exactly.
That them alone must live nice? Why are there people so greedy, so demonic, that they don't understand that the purpose of life is to share?
Correct.
You didn't.
And if he's sharing and everybody living good, everybody will be happy.
Everybody living good.
And everybody will be comfortable. You don't need to close your door. Nobody come to rob you because everybody comfortable.
Yep.
You say if life bless you, don't build a taller wall, build a longer table.
Exactly. And if we have that in a simple way could solve all kind of things.
Everything. The village that they say that it takes to raise a child is Trinidad and Tobago, 1.4 million of us, 1.3, 1.4, 1 point how much ever. We are a village. There should be nobody in this country being left behind. The farmers should be treated with respect. If you were treated, people talk about the workers in these ministries and they castigate them and treat them with scant courtesy, and some deserve it. But the vast majority of them, when I went in the general hospital the other day and I watched how these nurses, the conditions these people working under, I say, how you always come to work every day? I'd kill myself. The place is stink, it's nasty, it's falling down and rotten. It looked like something out of a movie in a country at war. That is our general hospital. When last you went there? Go and walk through, it will shock you. It will shock you the conditions these people working under. And you tell me, they're working there every single day of life, and tell me where your pleasant disposition going on.
Yeah, and that's the same story as the prisons. The same story as the prisons.
The police
because I was looking at a prison, I think it's in either Mississippi or New Orleans, somewhere there, that the US State Department is going to like close down. Try to bring the governors and they to action, because these prisons, when I see what the prisoners have been saying that they have to go through in these prisons, and I'm hearing that there is a big cry in America right now. That same, if you look at what's happening in Trinidad, we were talking about that last week. That is nowhere close to what prisoners.
What they call abuse in Trinidad?
What prisoners have to go through in Trinidad and Tobago.
That's what Trinidadians are aspire to.
You have ever go into RUM?
Yeah.
You see what it is. It is a when I say if you ever go in there,
I mean, it's a human rights atrocity.
I visit and
it is a human rights atrocity.
I did visit.
It's a human rights atrocity.
And to be honest with you, they say that this was really built for slaves, and that. Listen to me. And
you have people going inside there and expecting them to come out and what? Treat people good in society?
No,
you expecting them to come out and what? Be nice to me and you and I?
You know what my point is?
Wow.
My point is, you are the Prime Minister. I remember when Patrick Manning had made a statement once, and I listen make a joke, made a statement once that when he finished in government, he gonna go and be a pastor. And I wrote an article in the paper to ask him, you going to be a pastor after? You have the power of the pen right now to change lives by tens of thousands of people. You waiting to go and be a pastor and promise them what? Happiness in the life after? You could deliver happiness now. There are ministers of national security. Fitzgerald Hines has talk a crocus bag of ass when he talk. He going to sleep tonight knowing that there are children in that condition. He knows that there are children and people living in those places that I want to ask a question because I want to know, why is it that we are so cruel to each other? Why do we hate each other so much? Why? And that's our topic for our next rum shop talk.
I agree.
We gotta have plenty rum for that one. But that's the reality, because if you look at it, when the Minister of Works is paid by the taxpayers and he tell them, fix your own pothole, where's your work? Where's your job? If you're not fixing it, what are you getting paid for? The $1 million a year as payback for your little financing?
It's just a cycle. I mean, when you go down in a pothole, you have to go by a man, you have to go by a used car place, or you have to go by some spare parts place to fix your car.
You could take the government to court for that.
You know that. You could take the state to court.
But I'm not going to say,
you could take them to court on that thought, but I mean, who doing that?
The problem with that, the lawyer,
go and take that money.
He the only man winning with that, you know. The only profession in the world that get reward for failure. is a legal profession.
And in
Tell
Trinidad,
me about it.
A man, you hire a lawyer, you lose the case, you say, I pay me, so you still win,
Yeah.
Only profession.
Yeah.
You just win for losing.
but look at what just happened with the Attorney General and what the opposition leader is saying about the lawyers that voted in support of him and all of that. And they don't see that all of them are gutting this country.
Yeah.
Because the people on the bottom, what they have to look up to.
Yeah.
Well, when I saw that vote, I mean, I could have only thought about what's happening in London and what's happening to Boris Johnson, because the only thing I could think about is that should not have been even a discussion for the Law Association, in my view, right? Except to say, boss, you had to go.
You shouldn't reach
So you
your
see
boss,
why-
you had to go, you know.
So you see why it is we need to stay in the Privy Council.
That you have a friend with me and me with that. You have a friend with me with that. Because I tell Chapter, if we leave, the Privy Council leave.
You understand?
But the
I would have loved to
Isn't
move
it-
forward.
Isn't it reflective of the Prime Minister though? That this is your Attorney General that you've appointed that perjured himself in a foreign
really,
jurisdiction representing your country, representing the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, well, he has full responsibility.
No,
for
he
that,
has full responsibility.
responsibility.
If
No,
the
he
man
may
did
have-
not know that he was the lawyer of the most significant case of his career, if he didn't remember that, the man is not of sound mind, he shouldn't be Attorney General.
What really happened with that?
But you can't play on both sides. That's what the judge in the foreign jurisdiction tell them. You can't be representing Kwaitang and then come in to prosecute him.
Oh, okay.
That is what went on there.
No, you know that
and
went-
see, say he forget.
You know, but you know that went on in this country, and nine people get hung.
Maybe you say you forget?
But that went on in this country and,
And nine people get hung.
Ramesh hanged his clients.
Hung the client.
Yeah.
You understand?
There's nothing new then.
There's nothing new.
There's
That president was said. You understand? That was nine people get hung. So
This country
This-
is mad little
something-
place.
some-
This is a crazy place.
this country cannot
History
change
repeat itself,
unless-
man.
No, history repeats
Unless we
itself.
move the
But
41 of
until-
them, unless the
no,
41
of them is not
well,
an issue.
well, unless
No,
we
no,
just
no,
waive
no,
that whole
41 of them
all
is
the
the
cockroaches.
issue.
You gotta get rid of all the cockroaches.
Both of those points are correct, and I want to tell you why both of those points are correct. The 41 have become institutionalized; they have to go.
Exactly.
And the people who have been voting, those 41, didn't really have choices all along the way.
The day
So they didn't have choices.
We must give them
So
41 choice.
If your
No,
choice,
that you only how.
good. If you are in a situation where your choices are a cuff or a kick, which one you picking? You see what I'm saying? That is what
no,
happens.
I want you to understand.
No, they
No,
have choices.
listen to
They
what.
have
No,
choices.
listen to what I'm saying. to you.
Cheesecake?
They have
No,
choices.
listen.
Where was the choice?
I see men like Errol, Fabien went up and get about 3 votes in,
No,
Yeah, because you see-
no. Listen to what I'm saying here.
in St. Joseph. But
Anytime the population is educated enough to understand what is happening, they will move away from saying we don't have nobody else. Automatically.
Good.
Their eyes will be open.
Good. Look at what you're dealing with. This is the conundrum you're dealing with.
Only
This is the conundrum.
if you understand what I'm saying.
You do, but hear this conundrum. Hear this conundrum. The people who will fight to the death for Rowley Diego Martin West, fight to the death to defend him as the
Blue
prime.
was off.
If he was in the PNM tomorrow and ran as an independent, they choke canal water on him. He
think-
wouldn't get a vote.
I think it's the Japanese
If
president.
Kamla Prasad Bisesa ran in Superior
As an independent.
as an independent, she lost.
Yeah.
She lost her deposit. And that is the conundrum.
Yep.
Those people are voting parties.
So this is what I was saying here now.
But
I
you
think
know what they
the
realize?
Japanese president
Yeah.
call people like that idiots.
Just, and you know, people
But
like
the
get.
question you have to ask, and both of you have to ask yourself, and I just want to say this. If after all we say, because it's either everybody's stupid or something is going on here, we have a responsibility
don't know about.
that we have to speak to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if people are voting for the parties, not the people, crapo in a balizetai. If that is the truth, the question we have to ask ourselves is, what is so broken in our collective country, view of this country, that we only see ourselves safe, trapped in a political
well,
party?
you see, the question,
And
the answer to that is that, you know, it comes back to educating the people.
Exactly.
Because people really don't know why they're voting on it.
Exactly.
They're telling themselves
want
these
some
people that they're voting
education.
for could really fix the problem. The
And-
problem really is bigger than that. The problem is the state.
Yep.
And this
Right?
is why.
The problem has a lot to do with the state.
Are you
but
saying that
just now. But the 41 of them could fix it.
Yeah.
But they have to come together to fix it.
But they won't.
Right?
They're fighting for the same
They have to
pot.
come together
They're
to fix
fighting
it.
for the same pot.
Which is why I said to you, when your message, your narrative to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, if you want to get into office, must not be that the PNM bad or the UNC bad or whatever. Your narrative must be how you intend to fix it.
But that's what we're doing.
Right?
Yeah.
And how you intend to fix
But
it,
that's what we're doing.
you must understand how government work. What is the role of the state? What is the role of them MPs? Because them MPs, they ultimately responsible.
But brother,
they can-
MPs
they-
ultimate.
they
I wanna
ultimately
say-
responsible.
Not the cabinet.
But how things work, you see all them public servants who making decisions that you don't know about, who carrying out, who any minister come and say do this, they're doing it, not understanding that they
they're
don't
the
have.
check. They're the check and balance.
Yes. And so we had to understand, we had to educate the people.
Okay.
The state is the important
What I
thing.
wanna
I'll
tell
give a
you,
simple example. I just slipping this. I'm glad the structure all your own. A lot of people vote for a party. They vote for PNM or UNC.
Yeah, a Jersey.
But they realize that the party have no influence over the executive, you know. So you have your party group, your constituency executive, your general council and all of them. But then you have the cabinet. And them fellas in the cabinet just use the party as a vehicle to get there, you know. They really care about you, you know, because only have no influence on the decision
That's
they
why
make, you
I said
know.
earlier, those political parties have supporters and beneficiaries.
Yes.
There is a line that the
Yes.
supporters don't cross. There is a line that
Exactly.
you
And a
pay
lot of them
for
people
life
know
and
that.
We don't
Oh,
care, we don't care about you after,
how do I-
after election
Minister
night.
did.
After
the
election
minister,
night.
you vote
How
him,
do
cut off
I,
him.
you
So
telling
this is-
me,
this
so
is-
wait, but you say educate, how do I educate people to see the bars of their cage? How do I show them that? I could show them that when the UNC say, well, we're not in office, we can't fix that. And I could show them that's a lie. We go there and we fix a lot of stuff. And we don't even have opposition money. But the people who are trapped in that mind, you'll talk about, that colonized mind, this lady talk about, that know, they have to know that this McDonald's burger is killing me. That this soft drink, I hear about the diabetes, I ain't talking about Jim and Mary and Sally.
The flour, you asking them to keep down that,
flour.
killing them too.
Okay, okay.
You have to understand that
Brother,
too.
Okay, and I'm not telling you no, but I'm saying, and you said this before, so I want to quote you. You can't make a change without having something in its place.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You can't say I'm taking away flour and leave you hungry.
Well-
you had to have something.
With the
and-
alternative.
And we knew the alternatives, and we know that there are alternatives, and that the diet.
and we planting the alternatives right here.
But brother, the diets, we got a westernized diet, and then we got a westernized fast food diet. But still, if you give people the opportunity to go and buy a stew beef and a melange and thing, they're going on for that because that have more flavor, that have more taste. And they know at the end of the day, when they finish eating a blue food, they have all the energy in the world. Whereas when you eat fries and a burger, you have high energy and then you crash. That's what the fast food diet does. It make you want to go and eat more. And we know all of that, so we don't go down those roads because if we don't stop, the show will go on forever. So
Yes.
Yeah.
we had to bring this one to a close. It was enjoyable because we touched base on a lot of things. So give you a couple minutes of a closing if you want, and then we'll bring it to a close.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I mean, citizens need to realize that they have to take personal responsibilities in their homes, in the communities, in
their
Trinidad and Tobago.
ministries.
Right? And that they have to blame themselves first before we could probably talk about the politicians because they are just people just like you and I, and we hold them responsible sometimes for things that they have no clue.
Yep. What going
to
on?
fix.
Phillip, I want to thank you for this opportunity that I could have come on your RUM talk this evening, RUM talk show, and I think it would hope that a lot of people would have benefited from our discussion this evening here. And I look forward of being here so that we could divulge more information going forward. Understand? Because this is the only way I believe that our country could go forward, by educating the people. Educating the people and educating people. I want to
Exactly.
thank you very much again.
Yeah.
Phillip, again, this round table is necessary. People have to understand two fundamental things. Your responsibility to yourself and your community, and responsibility to your country is critically important for moving us from the space that we're in right now, and so forth. And if we start to understand where is our responsibility, no politician could dictate a pace contrary to what you know is your responsibility. And we had to change our mindset and stop following party, but follow what is in the best interest of country first.
Correct.
Can't add nothing to none of that. Everything they said is everything I believe. And this is why we keep trying so hard to surround ourselves with so many critical thinkers to show you that we can bring into your homes that there are people, if you gave them a chance, they will change this country for you and for your children. I want to say to my brother Stephan, Reis, brother, your absence was noted.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it in the heart that you're going through all of this. You are the last person I want to wish this on. You're a hard-working, contributing member of society. And those fellas, let me tell you, I don't know where you believe it, brother, but you see whatever money you get from wherever you do there, that money go cut you. That money ain't go work for you. Your life will go down, not up. Find Stephan and give him back his car and his phone and walk away. Because the truth of the matter is, everybody have responsibility for their actions, and not because you have a gun in your hand you can take advantage of others, not because you have a political office you can take advantage of others, not because you have a little bit of money in the bank you can take advantage of others. We need to stop this culture of advantage and start to live together one more time as one people under one flag. And I think out of everything that they say, the day we start thinking of each other as brother and sister, we will naturally put country first. Thanks a lot for joining us. Thank you for joining us in the RUM show. Yeah. Until next week.
Love it. I love it.
I go drink today. We in the RUM shop. Yeah. Yeah. 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 So bring our RUMs, bring it come in the RUM shop talk. Yeah. So bring our RUMs, bring it come in the RUM shop talk. Yeah. Yeah.